Today on the Travel Magazine, join us as we take a trip to Budapest, Hungary. But first, to the Austrian city of Vienna. Vienna, Austria has long been called the City of Dreams. Hi, I'm Jake de Boer.
And I'm Mieke de Boer, and welcome to this edition of the Travel Magazine.
The rich history of Vienna has long been captured in the magnificent facades of its palaces and cathedrals, while every day Vienna's flavor rings out with the sound of music and romantic coffee houses that are quietly tucked away throughout the city. Vienna is a vibrant modern city, but its rich aristocratic past still lives on through the music, carriages, cafes, and architecture that attract the romantic dreams of the millions of visitors that savor Vienna each year. Carriages, horses, how did they get here and what's the story behind them?
It's a tourist attraction which comes from Paris because there is a square called Saint-Fiacre where the horses stood or used to stand in Paris. And then they also had horse-drawn carriages, and that habit came to Vienna. So it's not an Austrian invention.
And you know, the fiacre that we are in is more than 100 years old. It's been totally restored again, and it's, well, I like it very much.
You know, Jake,
Mieke.
Vienna is Johann Strauss. You know, he was born here, he lived here, he died here, and you know, the music is all, I think, captured in the air because he composed and wrote the Blue Danube. And you know, everybody knows the Blue Danube.
In our hearts, the most important composer is Johann Strauss.
Why?
That's our music, because we like operettas, we like the music. And if you look at operas that Mozart has written, they happen in Italy or somewhere. But the operettas that Johann Strauss has written, they describe Vienna, the life, how it was here. Beethoven, his music is quite different to Strauss' music. And he was, of course, born in Germany, in Bonn, but he came as a young man to Vienna and he worked and lived here. And you know, he has a little bit of a sad story. When he grew older, he was a bit crazy, he was deaf. But even in that time, he wrote some of his most important music, in this time when he was deaf. And it's not far away from here, where he has stayed. And you can find at least 30 houses where he has stayed in Vienna. He moved every half year his place, so he was a little bit crazy, but nevertheless his music is, you know, one of the best. Yeah, when Mozart was a very young boy, he started composing as a young boy and playing piano, and when he was a 6-year-old boy, he played for the Empress Maria Theresa. The National Opera House was ready in the middle of the last century under the rule of Franz Joseph I. And when the Opera House was ready, the emperor didn't like it. And so the architect committed suicide. Incredible, but in those days, it happened.
But it's not only Johann Strauss. You know, when you go to this wonderful city, you can listen to Vienna music. You can also go to the Horeker in the Vienna Woods, right. And you can sing, you know, the songs of the Viennese folk songs. And you know what? We can even sing with them.
Heuriger has a double meaning in Vienna. It is on the one side, Heurig means this year. That means it's the young wine. In fact, it's the wine of the last crop in October. And it's also the place where this young wine is served.
music that we play here, that's a typical the Viennese songs. These songs have no composers. You know, they are given from father to son, and so on. And we play it, and yeah, sometimes even we start singing. Not only the musicians, even the guests start singing, and it's very funny. We like it.
It's not only the music of Strauss. You can go here to cafes, and when you're in the cafes you can listen to Vienna music.
And here's another, that's nice, Zum Leopold.
Lots of very famous cafes,
Yeah,
all
really.
over the place.
Yeah.
Oh.
Café Central, that's beautiful, huh? That's
Yeah.
very nice, I like that. And you can sit there for hours and enjoy it. I mean, there's no problem at all.
No one can imagine Vienna without a coffee house. It's a place to meet people, to read the newspaper, and sometimes we stay there for hours or for half a day. And this is very important for communication in Vienna.
Coffee houses have a long tradition in Vienna, more than 300 years. It was when the Turks have been before Vienna and then had to flee because they had been defeated. They left the coffee beans, and the legend says that was the beginning of the coffee houses in Vienna.
Life in Vienna is a journey through the ages. The Viennese Café is living proof of that. One can spend a leisurely hour in this oasis of charm and tranquility, relaxing, looking, chatting, savoring the delicious coffee, reading the newspapers, or losing yourself in daydreams.
You look at this side, I will look at that side, because there's so much, and when we get home tonight, I'll ask you, what have you seen?
And I'll ask you what you have seen. I want you to describe every building for me.
There is so much history and so many statues, you know, that it was an eye-opener for me, you know, Jake, and we have been all over the world.
The Ringstraße is surrounding the first district, the center, and it's a big boulevard. And it was the fortification walls of Vienna. And in the middle of the last century, we decided to destroy it and have a big boulevard. We wanted to have a big boulevard. You know, Paris has the Champs-Élysées, we wanted it too. So, and along this street, you find most of the famous buildings in Vienna. It's very easy to find your way if you follow this street.
Oh, these are the parliament houses on the left. That's the Greek goddess of wisdom in front of the parliament.
And that church over there, the name of the church?
It's the town hall.
The town hall. Looks like a church, but yeah.
Yeah.
What is the Hofburg actually?
It's the Imperial Winter Palace. But you have seen, it's not only one building. It's several buildings built in different styles, and the reason is every emperor who wanted to be a great emperor had to build his own castle.
You should look at the boots of this guy. It is as if it's real leather. I think if you look at the faces, they are alive, as if this horse is going to jump off this any moment. It's beautiful.
The Imperial Summer Palace. It was built under the rule of Maria Theresa, and it's nowadays a museum. You can visit the rooms and see how the emperors lived, how Maria Theresa lived, how Franz Joseph. And it's not only a castle, it's a very beautiful garden too.
We will be back with more of the Travel Magazine just after this, so stay with us.
Budapest is a city of more than 2 million people and is the capital of Hungary. It is a grand icon of the past and a modern metropolis filled with over 2,000 years of history.
Situated along the river Danube, the capital city of Budapest, Hungary, has come to be known as the Paris of the East, with bridges that not only connect the castle-clad hills of Buda, but also the fast-paced commercial sprawl of Pest. They join together a city of harmonizing contrasts.
Buda and Pest was united 100 years ago, and before it were 3 separate cities. Actually, there were Buda, where we are now. This is one of the oldest part, and the old Buda, which is called Aquincum. It was inhabited already by the Romans. And there was the Pest side, which was a separate city as well. But they got very close to each other, as the Danube is the only thing which divided the 2 cities. So 100 years ago, they have decided to unite the 2 cities and to make one capital of the country. Buda, as I have mentioned, is the residential part of the town. You have more trees, more parks, more greens, but this is the castle district which represents Buda. The castle district dates back centuries and centuries.
Is it all set? Everybody's camera set?
Yes, it is.
Another camera? Okay. You can juggle. Okay.
Mini flash.
I can juggle. Okay. Right. Oh, this is not such a good camera. You got it. Smile. Here we go. We're in Budapest.
Thank you very much.
There was already a palace on the place of this in the 13th century, but that got ruined, and year by year it was built and new levels were built and new wings of the palace have been built. So basically it was finished in the last century. In Hungary we have many small groups of course they are Hungarian, but still they are different. These are called folk groups, and they have very beautiful handicrafts and embroideries and potteries, and each of them are representing a different region of the country. That's the small shops that you can see up there represent and show you very colorful works.
I will send her definitely a greeting from Buda and Pest. Hello, I want to buy something. Tell me which, first you have to explain to me, which side is this? Is this Buda side or Pest side?
There.
You don't, yeah, but this is, the world is around.
That's pictures, don't look.
But which side do you think is Buda? Is this the Buda side or is this the Pest side?
Yes, Buda is Pest.
Buda and Pest. This is very nice. This is English. Yeah, it's Canadian. But I like the color, and I think I should get one of these dresses.
and my husband can wear this and I can wear that. Eh? That looks nice, eh? So anyhow, I'm going to go in the store and I'm going to have a good look. We will be back with more of the travel magazine from Budapest, Hungary, just after this, so stay with us.
The chain bridge was actually the first bridge to be constructed. When a Hungarian count, wanted to cross the river in January when it was frozen and it was impossible to cross. And he was going to visit his father who was dying and he couldn't come. So that day he decided that we need a bridge. And the interesting thing about the bridge that at the two ends you could have seen the two lions. The man who has sculptured the lions was there at the opening of the bridge. And the little kid started to scream, "Oh, look, they don't have tongues." And the man got mad. He said, "Oh, what a work I have done." And he jumped into the river. Finally, he didn't die, but still the story is going on. You can see that we have bridges, 7 bridges, which are keeping the connection between the two parts, but still you can recognize a kind of separation between, like, Buda is much more the residential part, Pest is for commerce and studies and busier.
You have a magnificent parliament building along the Danube.
That's true, it's a magnificent and a very expensive building. That was built in last century, the mid and the end of the last century. And the price to build that building was the same as the price to build a small town for 50,000 people. So it looks fabulous, but it had a price. Sometimes people mix Hungarian and gypsy music, but to tell the truth, nowadays gypsy musicians are playing Hungarian music. So that's the fact. But you know that gypsies are very good in music, very, very good, especially with the violin and the cymbalum. And there are many of the restaurants, especially on the Pest side, where you find them playing music and making your dinner even more enjoyable, more special. On the territory of Budapest, we have 123 thermal springs, and we have many, many thermal baths, which are based on these springs. There is a very special one, which is called Széchenyi bath. This is a huge building, and when you look at it, you feel like going to see an old theater. And when you enter, then you realize that this is a bath.
The Romans enjoyed them, the Turks nurtured them, and the Hungarians still love them. Therapeutic baths are still a popular way to relax for many of the locals.
Our square was constructed at the end of the last century for the 1,000 years of anniversary of the Hungarian conquest. And the whole, all the monuments are to be represent the country's history. In the middle of the square you have a huge column. On the top you have Gabriel Archangel, and in front of the column you have a kind of tomb, which is to commemorate all those people who have fought for the freedom of Hungary during these 1,000 years. And all around in the two semicircles you will find the most outstanding personalities of the Hungarian history. Váci Street.
Yes.
This is the main shopping street of the town, where you find, starting from exclusive shops, you find nice restaurants, cafes, you find folk art shops. You really find everything that could represent Hungary or could represent the town.
Jack, did you fall asleep?
Well, I was told to be quiet. And as I recall, I was told by you to be quiet so he could draw me. But you have this incredible frozen smile. How can you keep it
Because
up for half an hour?
I want to have a good picture.
Oh,
I want to
I
have a
see.
good picture done. You know? Okie dokie.
My goodness.
Beautiful. That's very nice.
Excellent, excellent. Outstanding.
Spray me that I can keep it for 300 years, eh?
Well, that's it for this edition of the Travel Magazine. From Budapest in Hungary, I'm Jake de Boer.
And I'm Mieke de Boer. Bye.